Good morning, yous. Welcome to the Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. That's right, I'm Joey, only up here in Wells, British Columbia, 3,953 feet above sea level. I can't thank a lot of you enough. Like Sean, for example, yesterday threw down a donation. Got a couple new Patreons, like Why Lord Rob Butts, right on. Julie P, thank you. Gwendolyn Mannon, as always, you're always good to me. Lisa just added their membership up to $20 a month, so thank you very much. You're putting food on my plate. Talade Deloma Dirks as well, another new person. So thank you to all the new people who've been helping me out here on the channel. It's that time of year, and so basically today my insurance runs out on the truck. Okay, so that's okay. No truck for a bit, and then it's like I got no window in the back seat of the and I need new bearings in the truck, and it's like I'm sinking, people. Nonetheless, I'm pretty close to. Oh, I got a hair in my face. Pretty close to fire season. Pretty close to getting through this, and I do have a little bit of work later this month with the Elections Canada I'm looking forward to. So, yeah, it's not a lost cause here, Phil, but thank you very much for supporting. And, okay, let's get on with the topic today. The topic today is people were asking me about fire season already. You see, early in the year, and the snow has just melted in a lot of places. We have dead grass everywhere. Everything's very dead and gray, and so we have what's like the first fire season. It's like kind of the pre-fire season, until things start to green up and grow. We have this like elevated risk that things could burn. So that's what we're looking at. And of course, we got this warm weather this weekend. It's not out of the question that we could have fires somewhere this weekend. Okay, well, we're not in a situation where we're going to see lots of ripping heavy duty fires. No, but I thought you want to look a little bit at the maps with me and find out sort of what I'm thinking of where things may start first this year. Okay, let's go.
There it is. This is bad news. My God. Anything could happen.
Get on!
I'll watch the video later.
If you could there, hit like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend. Really needing help to grow this channel. In fact, there's that little bell up there, little bell icon. If you hit that and ding it, it will tell you in your notifications when I have videos up. I know I'm really struggling right now to be seen. Well, the whole world is tariff crazy and politics crazy and election crazy. And generally I have a lot to say about those things, but I mean, in the middle of the election, maybe less than you think. It's like, well, I've kind of said what I have to say. Now it's the election time. It's up to you to kind of make your decisions and decide. It's like, so I kind of step back more than you think I would at this time. It's part of the democracy I believe in. It's like the process is just as important as the result. Anyways, okay, let's get on with the story today. Looking at BC Wildfire Service's danger rating map, there's not much you can really infer from it right now. Okay, well, yeah, there's a little spot up there in the piece where maybe things are reported drier than we expect. This is initial fire spread we'll be looking at in a minute on the Canadian Fire Information System. This is just your normal danger rating for province of BC right now, and you expect it to be down. I mean, obviously, we don't have the temperatures to drive fire behavior. Things aren't completely dry in the forest, like in a lot of areas where there's been snow. That snow has still made the ground wet, even if it is no longer present. But we do have some spots, particularly where the blue there areas where we think that things are more or less pretty good. But we can't infer too much from this. We're going to have to dig deeper, I think, today. Okay, here's our map for initial spread index from Canadian Fire Information Service, whatever it's called there. It's the most telling of the maps right now. I think that's available. It's pretty. But as you can see, they're not really reporting on much of the country right now. It's basically winter conditions in a lot of places. There's not the risk of fire, across the board much at all. However, the initial spread index is there, and that's that dry plant matter I was telling you about that is out in the open in the fields and whatnot, can easily lead to spring grass fires. So you get that initial fire season that kind of starts in April. Last year I was at my first fire, I think April 19th or 20th we deployed out. Yeah, that's not too far away at this point. At the time, I was like, wow, that's the earliest I've ever been out. And then the year before that was May 6th or 9th or something we got called out. At the time, I was like, wow, that's the earliest I've been called out. There is a pattern here. There is a trend, and we're seeing fire seasons, not every year, but in many years, start a little earlier than we expected them to be. And just looking at the fire weather index, we can see that the interior today And little spots of yellow in there, little spots of yellow up towards the piece there. Again, nothing crazy. No, we're not anywhere near the danger for weather or conditions out there for fire. However, I think it's interesting to see that we do have a little bit of an early start this year, and people are sensing this, and they want to talk about it. They want me to talk about it. Well, another point of data we can look at would be snow percentages. Here's sort of a new update on snow in the province, what we're looking at, and it's kind of hard for me to read because April is so far from the names. Just to clarify that. But if we go look, what do we see here is that, well, we do have 195% there. Looks like Upper Langworth. Is it Longworth? I don't even know where that is. Upper Longworth. So there you go. I can kind of get that all on one screen here. 95% for them. We got a 90 in the Revolution Creek area. But okay, Barkerville, what are we looking at here? 79% of our expected totals. I think that's an overestimation slightly, personally. Maybe up at the Barkerville snow station, the weather station, maybe it is at 79%. But certainly here in the valley, not far away from there, it is not, right? And so that's one thing you got to look at, too, when you're thinking about snow water equivalent at the automated snow weather stations, as expressed as a percent of period of record median. So what we're looking at here is often mountain snowpacks, right? And so like this winter we talked about that, where January, like, oh, it's 80% of the average snow, and people are like, it's no big deal. But it's like, yeah, well, if that's the case, but there's no snow in the interior. There's no snow at the airports, at all the interior reporting stations. There's nothing, right? So even if we had some good snowfall in some of the mountains, and these end up looking at a little better than we expected, the reality is, this is the height of the watersheds, right? This is the height of Upper Fraser East that Barkerville's in. The height of Upper Fraser West is where Kaza's in. Nechako, these are the headwaters. These are the high points. These are the places where snow is going to be. And then that's what's telling, is if you start seeing these places be much lower than you expected, like, wow, 64% at Tatsa Lake. That's pretty low. Okay, so it's not too bad in the Upper Fraser. Okay, no, it's not too bad at all. Okay, but when you go to Middle Fraser, McGilvery Pass is at 50%. We see a lot. We got one at 156%. So I don't know if that's an aberration. Maybe Penfold Creek at 123%. We got a couple that are well over. It seems like Bridge Glacier, sure, but then we got some that are like 64% in Braylorn. Okay, so that's some pretty. There's a 40 there. At Shovel Nose Mountain, 40% of its annual snowpack. That's not good. That's going to disappear pretty fast, right? You go to the Lower Fraser, not too crazy. Some are actually well above. Some are not too bad in the North Thompson. Okay, South Thompson, I'd say that's pretty good. It's all between the 89 and 100%. So South Thompson's actually not looking that bad. Upper Columbia got a 70 in there, but some of these aren't too bad. Some of these aren't too bad at all. Let's just be honest. Like, the snowpack across the board isn't great this year, but there's some bright spots. There's some positive news that, 73%. I think when you're getting down to the 70, to me, 70 is with like the drop off. It's like, well, if you're below 70, if you're nearing 70 or below 70, like, you're significantly below what you should have for snow. And okay, so we're seeing some of those here for sure. All in all, it's not as bad as it could be. Here's a bunch of 60s though, in the piece. We got that dry spot in there. Yeah, that the yellow that was showing up in the map there. So we got some 60s in the piece. That's pretty low. Some 60s in Skeena Nass there. That's really bad actually. Johansson Lake, Lou Lake, Shedden Lake. These are all way low. See, so that area 69% above. Around average at Skeena Nass. That's not good. Liard looking pretty good, actually. They're well above. That northern BC area is looking really, really good, to be honest. Percentage for all BC pillows looks like we're at 88%. Average of all Fraser Snow Pillow, 90%. So, it's not the worst. It's not the worst. I mean, we've seen worse before. Definitely not looking good for certain areas, especially. I don't like how it looks for Skeena. To me, that's pretty bad. Peace is a little low. Central Coast is low. That's only one reporting station, though. Vancouver Island looking pretty good at the 96th percentile all in all. I like that. South Coast, 82%. Not terrible. Boundary at 111%. That's great news. Not bad. East Kootenay at 80%. Okanagan's looking pretty good, actually. The mountains got a lot of snow in the mountains there. So that's good for you. Good news. West Kootenay at the 80 percentile. Not great. East Kootenay, 80 percentile. Not great. Not really. 84% for Upper Columbia. Not terrible. Then we got a bunch that are actually pretty good here. South Thompson looks pretty good. North Thompson looks pretty good. Lower Fraser looks pretty good. Middle Fraser, not terrible. Not good for Nechako at all. And on the low side for Upper Fraser East. Looking at the April 1st report, why is snowpack important? It's like we're trying to determine how long will the ground stay wet, essentially before begins the drying out process. So if we have that snow, the more snow there is, the longer that snow will last, the longer we're going to avoid, the longer we'll have to wait until there's a fire season. Okay, so the provincial average is 88% actually for April 1st. That's not terrible across the board, right? That's an increase from 83% actually on March 15th. So it's a little better than it was. The Fraser River Basin averaged 90%, which is an increase. So that's an improvement. We've seen some improvements, actually. That extra snow we had over the last few weeks has helped add up. That's great news. There's been some significant increases in Lower Fraser, South Coast, Liard, and Vancouver Island. There were no regions that measured significant decreases since March 15th. So that's good. That's good. That's kind of what we needed, was to see the season end on a positive note. But still, if we're looking at what are we at this year, we're in the red still. Here this big thick black line right now is this year, and you look at what's the different averages that we've seen in the past, kind of play it out, and you look it's low. Okay, we're really low. There should be a more extensive water supply bulletin around the 9th or the 10th or the 8th or something this month. So give it a couple days. We'll come back to the topic and have even more data on it. So let's have a look at snowpacks then. Let's see what we got here for snowpacks. And you can see north is good. The north is pretty good, man. Like the Betsy Plateau and on up. Looking like there's more than a meter in some of those places on the east side. Half a meter or more still up there. Maybe up to 70 centimeters in some places. It seems like a lot in that North Plateau is actually pretty good. What are the exact totals? I wouldn't suggest that these are the exact totals, but look at the density, 322 kilograms per meter cubed. That's pretty good density, actually. So you got snow that's not only deep, but it's packed in. That's not the heaviest density you'll get. 356, that's even higher density. You go to the big high mountains, you're looking at closer to 400 kilograms per meter cube for density. Okay, so that's dense. Nonetheless, some of these numbers are actually fairly dense. The snow is solid. It's compact, it's pressed. So it's not only is there 83 centimeters there now, but it used to be much more, and the weight of it came down. So an area of concern certainly is the Peace. Data is showing no snow there. Maybe if you live in these regions, feel free to comment and let me know if that's exactly what you're seeing. But it looks like in the Peace itself, pretty dry. So that's concerning for them. And other areas, we'll switch to 2D here actually, so we can get a little closer in and just get a better look at it. So we're pretty much everywhere for Chetwood and Hudson Hope to the east. You're now looking at not only really warm day today, so there's a fire risk for you today, I would think. Even if something catches in the grass and you got those stronger winds today, that maybe you could see grass fires take off across a couple fields or whatever, right? That's not out of the question. Is it a high risk fire day? No, we're not talking high risk right now. I'm the weather dude. You want to know you want to know the details, whether they're shocking or alarming or not. Nonetheless, some of this is shocking and alarming to me because it's early April and there's nothing for snow through Vanderhoof, Fraser Lake, up towards Burns Lake, basically, only in some of the higher country around. That is higher country to the south. Certainly it gets up in the plateau there, but Vanderhoof sits lower than this plateau. But this is more or less where I've done a lot of my firefighting over the years. If you go look at my video, search fire and lightning with the and sign here on my channel, you'll find my short movie I made, which is takes place all in this area, mostly around about low south. And so does my other movie I made, actually, Cut Off Creek, takes place down here as well. So I've done quite a bit of my firefighting adventures have been in the same area again and again and again. And that's concerning for this year, that we're already seeing it pretty dry in through the lower areas there. Pretty dry around Prince George. Not bad as you start getting north. You're going to run into it and you get into the higher country up on the hard highway. You're going to run into it when you start going down Highway 16 towards Jasper and whatnot. I don't know what it's actually like in the valley bottoms. Is there a meter of snow in the valley bottoms? Maybe. Maybe there is. I don't know. We'll see. Like it says that more or less for here in Wells. And I don't think there's a meter of snow on the ground right now, no. So the density's there probably, yeah. That probably is close to what we're looking at for density in Wells. But, I mean, to me, that's an overestimation of what we actually have on the ground here by, maybe feet. So, I mean, that makes me skeptical that there's that much snow in the Robson Valley and whatnot. But there's probably some there. That's the point, more or less. And then you got this long stretch now. Basically, there's no snow in Quesnel. There's no snow in Williams Lake. And here's an area of real concern for me. I think it's the Chilcotin this year. It did not get much snow at all. It's already been pretty dry. The storms have seemed to be mostly skipping it. It took a little snow at times here and there. But all in all, you look at the conditions, and it's like, man, you drive that Highway 20, you're going through Hansville out towards Anaheim Lake and then down to Bella Coola. You're not running into snow until you start getting to the higher places out on the plateau, and you start getting closer to where you just drop off the plateau here. It's really interesting because I expected when I came out to fight fire in Bella Coola, I'd never been this direction up to that point. And I expected that I'd be seeing, as you're driving like this big mountain range in the distance, you're going to drive towards a mountain range. It totally blew my mind. I was like, where's the mountains? And then we just dropped down. Poof, and into them. It's really wild, actually, how it works there. You could drop down the mountains. Not good for the 100-mile house area. Now, these are areas to be watching. If you live in these areas, start planning yourselves planning this summer, because it's like, well, you got the heads up already now. We already know that there's no more snow coming towards you. It's not going to get any better than it has, right? Now you're going to need is drawing trends, fire weather, which means low humidity, high temperature, and if possible, high winds. You could be seeing fires in that early season, Kamloops as well, Kilchina, right on down to Princeton, of course, the Okanagan as well, at least the very center of the Okanagan. Those are the areas right now we're really looking at in BC that could see some fire risk already. And, of course, when we look at the areas that are not these reds, but these sort of blues and green colors, those are the areas that will lose their snow first, right? And we watch that snow go first. We're going to see those danger areas widen out. So the other telling thing is drought intensity, right? Now, it's got some of this in the mountains, so, I mean, these maps aren't necessarily the greatest, but they give us clues. They give us clues that we see some drier spots around the Kamloops area. Cranbrook, a little extra dry. I'd be interested to know from anybody in Cranbrook who's watched the show here. Leave a comment, let us know. What's the snow like where you're at? I'd be curious to know that. The area straight north of Prince George, drought intensity seems to be pretty high. I'm a little bit skeptical on some of this. I am. I'm a little skeptical on drought intensity. Soil moisture, what are we looking at? I'm a little skeptical, but I think some of these give us some clues. Some of these, definitely we know it's dry in that Burns Lake corridor. Yeah, there's areas where we know that this will correspond. So we'll go back to drought intensity here and just sort of have a look. I expect that we'll see a little bit of a change in some of these places if we come look at this again. Nonetheless, Peace area, I mean, what it's telling you is it's not got the snow that we really needed. We haven't had the consistent precipitation and moisture. We do have areas where, I would worry about sort of this more or less Prince George corridor, and I think we need to worry about the Peace a little bit this year. Although I don't know about the North Peace yet. We'll have to see. As we get into it. But, this corresponds, I think, that fire spread that we were talking about, Williams Lake up to Prince George and in the Peace, those are areas right now we could see some of that. And if we kind of skip forward you're going to see that, the conditions kind of come and go and change, And the area that is probably most in danger for an early fire season is actually on the Alberta side. Although we do have some of these yellow areas to watch out for, areas in the Caribou and areas in the Peace that could be telling. I think we go look at where did it go? We'll see if we can dial right into it. Down by Medicine Hat here, southern Alberta, very dry. And of course, it's the grassland country. We've seen lots of grass fires down there early in the year. So those are areas to be certainly aware of. What are we looking at for fuel moisture? Things are not going to be screaming for fuel moisture because it's that time of year. When we look at the kind of temperatures we're going to get yesterday, and I think we got well above 16 in Williams Lake yesterday. I think we're going to surpass these temperatures today. So expect that. Kamloops might hit 20 or more. Kelowna looking nice for you. Williams Lake, I won't be surprised if Quesnel or Williams Lake gets really close to 20 today. So, I mean, that's already fire weather, excessive fire weather. I got my hiccups finally. That's what happens. I drink coffee while I'm making videos, and then I hiccup myself to half to death. Vernon down to 21 degrees on Sunday, down up to 21 degrees. We can see some really, really nice weather still over the next couple of days. On the Alberta side, very dry. We're looking at 20 in Salmon Arm, 19 Kamloops, really nice Nelson. And you look at the Alberta side, then you can see why if you're hitting 20 in Lethbridge and whatnot, we could, there is a bit of a fire risk there coming for the next bunch of days. Unfortunately, if you live in Manitoba and anywhere east of you, it's going to suck for a while longer still, and that's what you deserve, I guess. Okay. Hit like and share and subscribe. Tell a friend. Help me keep this channel going, man, because it's a battle. It's a struggle to survive here in the YouTube. And I was giving them grief. I had sent them an email yesterday. It's like my members are telling me that my videos aren't coming up on their feed, which should also remind me to remind you to hit the bell icon, get the notifications. But still, you're not doing me any favors, YouTube, and I resent it, and so do other content creators. We put years of work into this, and we're close to succeeding, and yet we're getting drowned out by Trump and tariffs and this and that. And it's like, well, okay. I was like, people are like, just talk about the weather, Joey. So I was like, fine, I'll just talk about the weather. And then it's like, now a week's gone by and people aren't watching. And I'm like, what's going on? And people are like, well, yeah, all we care about right now is tariffs. And, it's like, so what you're saying is I should be talking about politics? Oh, that's crazy making. So don't talk about politics, Joey. Oh, crap. Joey was right about everything he said 3 months ago. Maybe he should be talking about politics some more. Maybe we should have been listening to him. Yeah, well, I'm here this is a doom channel, okay? It's the weather channel. It's not just about weather. It's about, disaster in general. And right now, the collapse of the American economy, the end of the American empire is this huge disaster that's on the border of Canada that we have to deal with. And I'll have more to talk about that as we go on in the week. Okay, everyone, for now, just enjoy the sunny weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.